We're going to go ahead and get started. I'll let people in as they get here. Um, but we're gonna get moving because I value your time. And I know some of you have already been through Safe from Harm this week. And so we want to make sure we cover everything we need to in this hour here and have time for questions at the end. So feel free to write down any, don't put it in the chat because it might get lost in some of those questions that people are answering now. We are in season 38 of rookie basketball, which is exciting. We're 2 years away from some kind of celebration for making it this far. So there have been a lot of coaches before you, a lot of kids before you that have made the coaches who've made an impact, kids who've had the trajectory of their lives changed, and we are excited to have you guys be a part of the season this year. Dustin Ham, Dustin, can you wave? I don't know if everybody can see you or if you're on their window, but Dustin is on staff full time with RBA. He is the one that's handling all of the equipment right now, and he's going to be doing other things to help me out. And so if you have questions, for some reason you can't get a hold of me, Dustin is the next person to contact and be in touch with. Our boss is Anthony Nordan. He is also coaching his daughter's team. He would be another person you can ask. And both of those email addresses and phone numbers are in that coach contact list. So feel free to reach out to them if you can't get a hold of me for some reason. I'm going to just start going through my notes. And if you have questions, there's a little hand raise thing, or you can click on that and I'll notice and I'll stop and we can go from there. But we're going to start so that we can have a little bit of space on the other end if that's good for you guys. Okay. Oh, I'm going to let someone else in. Hang on, a couple more. All right. So you may have heard me say this quote: sport has the power to change the world. It has the power to inspire. It has the power to unite people in a way that little else does. It speaks to youth in a language they understand. Sport can create hope where there was once despair. And that is the way we live out the mission of the Salvation Army for our community through sport. When we think about hope, around the world, the Salvation Army is recognized for the Red Shield and being a place in their time of need where they can find safety and hope. To help us remember that, we're going to think of it through that context of what Nelson Mandela said, that sport can change lives, and we are going to be you're going to be the facilitators of that. And so when we think about the mission, vision, and values of our rookie basketball program, we use sport as mission to support families in developing youth in body, mind, and spirit. The vision of the RBA is to help youth build character, teamwork, and leadership so they can succeed in education, careers, in their community, and beyond. We're different because we have a holistic child development. We have a value proposition for all. So we will have kids that are going to go off and do crazy great things. Maybe like a Gianna Neepkins, who is playing at UCLA this year, or Anders and Bjorn Broman, who set all sorts of scoring records in Minnesota, or Brooks Johnson, who's at UMD, or Chloe Johnson, who's coming up and is going to be a standout in the nation. She's already nationally recognized. And so that's great. But what we want to recognize is that everyone that comes into our program has that opportunity to learn life lessons through basketball about teamwork, sportsmanship, integrity, respect for authority, all of those things that sports teaches through life. Every kid that comes in our program has the opportunity to learn those things. We understand the transformational ability of sport, both on and off the court, to influence a player's development holistically. We're constantly striving to improve in the pursuit of excellence. We do this through our programming, training, equipping you guys, and intentional character development through the marks of excellence, founded all of this on a safe, fun, positive environment. So you're going to get a handout called Huddles, and I usually mail those out each week, but we're going to give you a printed copy at the beginning when you pick up your equipment. That's going to have every single week's huddle, like thought or mark of excellence, with a couple of questions for you to talk about with your players, which is our character building. And so if you can be intentional about that, it shouldn't take more than 5 minutes at the most to just cover this brief topic and a couple of questions to get a couple answers from your kids, but get them thinking about how in the world how do we engage our head and our heart, our attitude and our effort in the game, because we need that to be successful with our skills. A couple of things that are new this year. So our theme this year is play out loud, to play hard using our body, play smart using our mind, and play strong using our heart. So that's going to be in those themes, in that the huddle that you're going to get is all going to be about that, playing out loud. We don't need to be like trash talking and all that kind of stuff like society does and sports at the professional and college levels talk, even at the high school level. We want kids to put the practice in and let their play speak for itself. A big thing for this year that's different than every other year that I've been a part of RBA is our coach substitutes. Due to liability, everyone substituting as for another coach must be an approved volunteer or staff. So you need to use the coach contact list to either notify the coach who is at the same time. Like if you're on one half of the court and there's another team on the other side, let them know there's only going to be one coach for our team. That curtain needs to stay up if there is a curtain, but please help us just keep an extra eye out if you can while my co-coach isn't there. Or if for some reason there's not another coach, you need to contact either the coach before you or after you, see if they can stay and give you an extra hour to help you out. If that person can't help you out, then you contact me. We'll see if one of our staff can help out. If worse comes to worse, we'll cancel and we'll do a makeup practice. But only vetted volunteers that are approved can substitute coach for liability's sake. When you're going to substitute, please send me the name and the date of that person substituting. So I have it, so I'm aware of somebody else being with the kids and responsible for the kids. One more thing that's new this year, and this is a little, I made a little thing so it's a little easier to understand, hopefully, is we had a lot of feedback about kids starting to not show up for practices, but showing up for a game and expecting the equal playing time because we have an equal playing time rule. So because of that, I wanted to encourage practice attendance. And we know that practice attendance develops players' skills, it builds team cohesion, and a lot more. And so players are expected to attend practices consistently. If a player misses practice, these are the below response that will be implemented for subsequent games. Each time they miss, it accumulates the penalty. Does that make sense? So on the first time, if I call and say, I call Kevin and I say, Kevin, we're going to be out of town. We're going to miss practice, or my kid is sick, whatever the thing is, as long as I call you and say, we're going to be gone and you know it, no penalty. But if I just skip practice altogether, we don't play in the first 4 minutes. We don't start in the game. If I skip another practice and don't tell you, or I skip you another practice, but we're out of town. So the first one, I let you know. The second one, I let you know. Well, now I'm not going to start. There's a penalty for missing 2 practices excused in a row. But if I just skip a second practice and I don't tell you, now I'm sitting out the first half. Now it's affecting the equal play. Does that make sense? And this is in the coach's guide. So you will have this hard copy. I have sent it out electronically. But does this make sense? It's kind of a graduated, we want kids to understand the value of practice. And like we talked at Safe from Harm last night, none of these kids are professionals. None of these kids are the elite level, professional, college level. They're not getting scholarship offers right now. They need to be at these practices. Games are not going to develop them. This is where the action is happening at practices. And for the benefit of the team, they need to be there. Does this apply to K1? No. I would highly encourage your K1 parents to let you know if they're going to be there or not. Although some of our teams have enough kids that if they're going to miss one, it'd probably be a blessing to have a little lighter load. But I would definitely ask them to let you know. This information is in the parent guide that was sent out to the parents yesterday. All of this information is. You can certainly mention this to them. I would highly recommend saying, hey, there are consequences this year if your player misses practice. If they want to go into detail, you can go into detail, but let them know if your player doesn't come to practice, and especially if you don't tell me your player won't be at practice, it's going to affect their playing time in games. But we just have to have some sort of accountability for the kids showing up at practice so that they can be rewarded with game times, the equal game time that everybody else gets who show up at practice every week. Okay, we can feel free to ask questions about this on the other end, but does it kind of make sense? You can give me one of these if it makes sense, even though I only see like 4 of you. Thank you, Lauren. I see that. Okay. All right. So that's a big new thing. A couple of things we're just going to review. That first practice you have, please arrive a few minutes early and find that building engineer. Great to be friends with them. Like, not friends like you're going to invite them for Thanksgiving, but you want to know their name, introduce yourself, get contact information so that if there's an emergency, you know how to get a hold of them. You might want to give them your phone number so if they have an emergency, they can get a hold of you. Ask if there's any certain way they want set up. Some schools, they want to do all of it themselves. If there's any hoop moving, they want to do it. If there's a curtain going up and down, they want to do it. They're very specific at each location. So make sure you find that person, find out what they want you to do. Some places leave the PE teacher door open. You're supposed to go in, find the hook, and lower the hoops yourself. So it's really important that you know Homecraft, you're not supposed last year was up and down about who was supposed to do it, if we were supposed to do it, could we do it, we couldn't do it, then we could do it. So please make sure you find that person and find out for your school what is the important thing you need to do. In terms of that first practice for, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I don't even know how I did that. Let's go back one. Sorry about that. Your first practice in terms of your player expectations, share your expectations for the season. Highlight a few things from the code of conduct, introduce the huddle, those character points you're going to cover. You'll get those weekly questions, and make sure that you read through the code of conduct. You're going to get a hard copy to give to each kid. I asked the parents to cover that this week before practices, but we really want to make sure they understand the behavior that's acceptable for a player in regards to a teammate. Like, what's a good teammate? What's a bad teammate? What behavior do we want to see? Like, try to be the best teammate out there, not necessarily the best player, but the best teammate. And also, what does it look like to be a good opponent? What is acceptable when you're playing someone else in terms of the behavior, like the words you say to each other, the way you play each other, physicality, that kind of stuff. What is going to be okay and what's not okay? And as you could talk too about referee respect as well. Referees are adversaries. They're there to, not adversaries, they're allies. They're there to help you. They are our friends. We want to not see our referees as enemies. And so understanding that we need to respect them and that they're here. If they have questions during a game on a call, yeah, they should absolutely feel free to ask the ref, hey, what did I do? That's completely fine. This is a learning league. We want to encourage that sort of dialogue with our refs. So this is where you want to share the nuts and bolts. Teammates will do this, teammates won't do this. We will show good sportsmanship by doing this. We will have a next play mindset. We're going to recover quickly from mistakes for the benefit of our team, and we're not going to stand there and sulk. The game's going to keep moving. I'm going to think, okay, that was a mistake. Next play. How do I help my players and my teammates next? As well as get your team excited for the season coming up in that first practice. I would also recommend in that first practice, if you have two adults, have one adult kind of supervise either a game or free shooting, and then get all the parents together and then discuss a few highlighted points from the code of conduct and anything you want them to know specifically, like code of the sign in and sign out for the season, that every practice they're going to sign them in and sign them out. They must supervise anyone they bring to practices, and they're not allowed to go wandering around the school. They need to stay in the gym, just be there, not be disruptive, whether it's them or the people they bring. They also should take their shoes off, and we'll get to that, but I'm going to say that now, so hopefully it sticks a lot. Please ask your parents you need one person per team or one person per game to volunteer to run the clock. So if you can put that in there too as well, that they would talk to the referee at the beginning of a game to help volunteer run that clock. It's not difficult. It doesn't have to be the same person each week unless somebody really wants to do it. Remind them that there's, no matter what facility we're in, no wandering around. We do have new district policies in place that they're really following up on, and that's the no street shoes in the gym or boots in the gym, even for coaches and spectators. No one's allowed to wear just outside shoes in. So they either need to kick their shoes off and be bare, like in socks or bare feet, or they need to bring a second pair of shoes. The last thing I would say about that first meeting, please encourage your parents to use the League Apps app, because you can chat your team within that app. And that's where if something happens and you've got to cancel quick, or if there's a change of venue for some reason, you can quickly just message your whole team. Tonight, I hope to be assigning each of you to your team as coach. I don't know if that shows up in there or not, but that's what I'm going to be doing tonight in League Apps. It's highly, highly likely that you're going to have beginners on your roster. And the Junior MBA has skill evaluations at the beginning of each level. Dustin has printed off packets of the Junior MBA curriculum. It is the standard which we use for our practice plans. So we want you to use that as the baseline, so there's consistency across the league. You can add things to that, but we want you to use that as this is how we're going to move forward, so everyone across the league has similar experience and development. While winning is important, it's not everything. Success at this level depends on controllables like attitude and effort. No one can guarantee they're going to make 10 out of 10 free throws, but they can try to play hard and have fun and be a good sport and a good teammate. The junior NBA curriculum is how we're going to facilitate that. Please limit the time and lines that players are standing. And if you can, if there's, I mean, there will be times you're going to put a cone out and use that. But if you can put a player instead of a cone and make it more lifelike, I would do that every time you can. Before you start next week, if you could take a look at your league apps, whether you go in on your computer or on your phone, make sure all of your practices are in there. There are a couple, and we'll talk about a couple holidays that may not be in there already, but just make sure they're all loaded in there so I didn't miss your team or a couple things on your team. If you need to do a makeup practice, there are a couple occasions that we have Piedmont that we could slide your team over there for a makeup practice. It's only on Mondays, but we could do it. If you can email me that as soon as possible, because I need to give any time we're not using back to the district. We rent the facilities now at the district, and if we're not using it, I don't want to pay for it. So I want to be sure that we give everything back that we're not using. In terms of holidays, we're going to for sure not have anything on Tuesday, November 4th. That's election day. The district does not allow outside organizations to have practices on that day. And so if you're not scheduled for Tuesday, November 7th, that's why, because nobody is. Also, if you're scheduled, if you have a Wednesday practice, could you please let me know? I'm leaning towards canceling the Wednesday practices before Thanksgiving, but I also think there may be parents or spouses to coaches, I'm talking coaches, not players, that are like, no, get the kids, get out of the house so I can get the stuff done, getting ready for Thanksgiving. Or it might be, hey, we're leaving town. Can we not have practice that day? If you know for sure you're a Wednesday team and you know for sure you do or do not want practice on Thanksgiving, would you please let me know and I will adjust your schedule accordingly. As well, think about that week before the holidays. There's only 2 days of school, Monday and Tuesday. We are not having practices on that Tuesday, but let me know if there's just 2 teams that practice on Monday. If you're one of those teams and you'd like to not have practice on that Monday, let me know. We're also thinking about, well, no, the week of winter break, there is no practice, so that's not an issue. So Wednesday before Thanksgiving, the Monday before holiday break, please let me know about those ones. When at all possible, coaches first and last out of the gym. Keep that in mind. If for some reason you have a quick cancellation you have to make and you don't have time to contact, feel free to reach out to me. And if you can't get a hold of me, reach out to Anthony or Dustin. Like I said, League Apps chat is going to be the best way to make those cancellations. But if we need to do it quick for you, we can. If you are giving rides to anyone, please only do it for a neighbor or a relative. Please have that parent email me their desire and their approval for you to be the person that drives their child. Okay, just so that's in writing. Last season, our referees, this 5 count is what I'm talking about. Last season, our referees worked with the players in 2nd through 5th grade on a 5 count for inbounding the ball as well as dead balls. As soon as a kid picks up the ball, they would start counting down from 5, because in a high school basketball game, you get 5 seconds to pass the ball in, and you get 5 seconds once you pick up that ball and you're closely guarded. And so our referees would count down, they'd go 5, 4, 3. They would count down like that all the way to 1, so that players would learn to make quick decisions without panicking. Referees will continue to do that and encourage the players to pass the ball. Please teach them this at practice so that they're prepared for it when they get to that first game, and that it's not just when they pass the ball in, but if they pick up that ball and they've got a dead ball, so they learn not to panic. They look for someone to make that pass to. Also, let the teammates know they need to get open and show them how to do that, please. Next on the docket, equipment pickup. Dustin is taking care of this for us. Please be sure to communicate with your co-coach or assistant coach or team parent, whoever your second dollar volunteer is, who is going to pick your equipment up. And yes, it is 8 to 10 p.m. tomorrow night as one of the times. Dustin works wonky hours, and it's great because he's able to get a lot done in a chunk of time. And one of the reasons we're doing a late pickup is so that if you need to, you can get your kids to bed, and maybe one of you is home and the other one can come out and grab the equipment. And so we have the late night tomorrow night, but then also Thursday afternoon. We don't have any intention of doing a second pickup, like a secondary pickup beyond these 2 times. Please get there and get your stuff one of these 2 times. And we have events this weekend that are going to prevent, he can't keep the equipment in the gym. So it all needs to be picked up by Thursday night. Okay. In that, you can see what's going to be in that bag. Please make sure you get all those things out to your players. You will, if you need anything replaced, let us know. We can get it out to you at a practice or at a game. On your roster that you will get, if there is a kid that does not have a jersey listed behind their name, that means they didn't order a jersey. So don't just go, oh, I've got 3 kids here that don't have a jersey size behind their name. I'm going to grab 3 extra jerseys. No, you're not. They did not order a jersey if there's not a jersey size by their name. They're likely using one from the year before. If for some crazy reason when you go and hand them all out and the mom's like, oh, I didn't know I should order a jersey, have her contact me. I'll send her the link. We'll get her a jersey. But please don't go ahead and do that, okay? Also, please wear your coach's shirt to identify you to players and parents, whether at practice or games, just so that sets you apart, helps identify you quickly. If you have a player that does not show up, not the first week, but maybe the second or third week, they haven't shown up and you've contacted the parent and haven't heard back, let me know and I'll help you start contacting the parent, trying to track down where the kid is. We don't have any waiting lists at this time. And there is some limited space in second, third grade boys and fourth and fifth grade girls. There is very limited space in K1, but if you have less than 10 on your roster, feel free to let your players know. They can invite friends, have them contact me and I'll get them the link to get them signed up. We can go up to 10 on every roster. If I can help it, I'm not going beyond that anymore. And some of you have more than that, and I'm not adding anybody else at this point. Sign in and sign out forms will also be available for you on your in your packets. The game schedule, here's how this works, guys. So I don't know if any of you recognize that we're starting a week earlier than we've done since COVID. Since COVID, we've always started the first week of November. Has anybody noticed? And this year, we're starting a week earlier. That's because the way Christmas and Thanksgiving fall and the holiday, we have one less week for games. And so I thought we'll start a week earlier and then we'll get that extra week of games in, except the deadline didn't move anywhere. So it took the time to get everything done and went like this. And I did that to myself. And so I haven't touched, Dustin and I had a conversation today about some of the game stuff, but I haven't touched the game schedule yet. That's going to happen as soon as I can next week. But that's just where we're at this year. So we're considering having 2 Mondays in December for second, third grade games to make up the lack of space in Christmas because of December. We don't have the Salvation Army because it's full of toys and food. So if you didn't know that, the second, third grade games all go to the encounter, but we don't have space to do everybody. So we kind of split that up. We might have those weeknight games in 2 Mondays at Piedmont to knock those games out. So I'm still working through that. We're kind of thinking about how we're going to accomplish that. Fourth and fifth grade teams will have games on November 8th for sure. We want to get them in a kind of a scrimmage-like situation. It is possible that we will have games on December 20th, but right now I'm leaning against it because I think some families might go for the holidays. And so if you guys can give me some feedback on that, on if you think we should have games on the 20th, it won't be every day. It'll either be the fourth and fifth graders or the second and third graders. But if you could let me know what you think about that, about having those games on the 20th, that would be great. You can either throw in the chat or shoot me an email or a text. Let me know by Friday of this week. That'd be great. I hope to start on that schedule on Monday at the latest. In the past, we've had games that first week of winter break in February. And let me know what you think about this. My goal is to have 10 games per team. But I'm wondering if you think if you've coached in the past and you've had a lot of kids be gone those 2 Saturdays of winter break and you're like, no, it's not worth it. Too many kids are gone. Or if you're like, yeah, you know what? We've had enough kids. Let's do it. Let me know, please, what your thoughts are on that. Like we've done in the past, the games before the holidays are going to be more like a scrimmage. Please be prepared to be on the court with your whistle to stop the game and explain or reposition players. This is our chance to do that, to say, okay, you're not with your buddies now. Everybody knows what's going on. Now people don't know what's going on, but you're still out crowding the ball. Let's everybody stop, say, blow your whistle, say, freeze everyone, move them where they should be and say, all right, now let's go. Now do you see how it's better? Everyone has more. Now you can see your teammates. Now you're not like some kids will pick up that ball and just turtle up and that's game over. Like that nothing's happening from there. So this is the time to help with some of that or reposition on a under the basket, like, oh, we got the ball here. We've got to play. Oh, no. Everybody's not. Let's wait. Let's take a timeout. Let's reset. Let's go through this again. This is the time to do that and give the kids the opportunity to grow and develop in a game-like situation. So be prepared. to be on the court and help your players out. The referees are going to all season be working on educating players to prevent and correct violations. But after the new year, they'll communicate, but the calls will get tighter. In terms of if you're thinking about, are we still doing the no stealing off the dribble? Yes, the USA basketball has not changed that. So we will not be there's no stealing off the dribble at all in the second or third grade level. And we will lift it. That will be lifted for the fourth and fifth grade level, but not likely until February. So I will be emailing out about that. K1, it's a 3-week cycle. First 2 weeks are practice. Then third week is a scrimmage. Then weeks 4 and 5 are practice. Week 6 is a scrimmage. We do have a second session of kindergarten and first grade in January, February. If you're interested in coaching that already, you know it, please send me an email and let me know so I can get you on the roster so we're ready to go. That registration is going to open the first week of November for the second session. So if you can let me know, because I need to make sure I've got enough coaches to field teams for that. When we do, the games are going to be a 50-minute slot. There'll be a 5-minute warm-up, 8-minute quarters with a 2-minute halftime. The clock will stop at the 4-minute mark. Have your subs ready to go. This is not a timeout. We need to stay on time. We want to keep things moving. Have your kids ready to go in and out. Referees reserve the right to move a game to running time through that 4-minute mark if coaches are taking advantage of that. So keep that in mind. Full court press is completely eliminated from our league. So that's not going to be happening at all. All right. We're getting there, gang. We do have a whole slew of special practices and events. You're going to get a flyer. I've sent it out, the digital copy of all of our practices. The UMD East and Denfeld teams are scheduled already. We have RBA nights with each of them where if the player wears their jersey and comes with a paying supervising parent, they get into the games for free. There'll be a voucher, though, for the UMD ticket. But all of that's set up. UMD is going to likely contact me with dates for halftime games where you can sign up your team and show up, and at halftime they get to go out on the court and you get to split them in two and they get to play a halftime game at UMD, which is a pretty big, exciting thing for kids to do. So when that comes out, I'll send you a link to a document where you can sign up for that. That's going to fill first come, first serve. Will you please, please, please sign your teams up to do that? I know it's a little extra time. It's so good for the kids. They have such a good time, and it's really worth it for them. You'll have fun too. If you are going to go, if one of these practices is on, or even one of the RBA nights, and you want to go as a team to that event and you want to cancel your practice and just say, hey, we're going to go to this, let me know and I'll take care of it in league apps. I'll cancel it out and put a note on there that the entire team is going to wherever. And so your team knows, and so it'll pop up on their schedule so they know. So if they show up at your place and like, where is everybody? They'll know, they'll see it on the app. Couple events that people can be a part of. The Red Kettle Carnival kicks off the Salvation Army's Red Kettle campaign on November 5th. If you don't have practice on Wednesday night from 5 to 8, you can go down to Bentleyville. If you bring a new toy or a non-perishable food item, you get into the big giant Christmas tree. It's the only time of the year that they do it. And there's all sorts of community organizations that come down that do games and crafts and snacks. It's a really fun event. And just so you're aware, some of the fundraising that comes in at Christmas time does subsidize rookie basketball. The cost for RBA players before the deadline is $95 per child. The actual cost per child for the league is $200. And so even everybody gets a docked price. Anthony, we asked to raise fees last year it was the second time we've raised fees in the 13 years I've been here. And so the fact that we can keep the cost lower, just under half of what it actually is incredible. And we want to make sure everybody has the opportunity to play that would want to play and not have any issues. So just keep that in mind if you're thinking of doing something for team building. Please feel free to sign up for bell ringing and do it as a team building event. We'll talk about that in a minute. We are part of the Christmas City of the North Parade this year. If you want to bring your family or your whole team to walk in the parade, feel free to come and they can give out high fives as they walk around the route. We have a good time. Hopefully it'll snow this year. We can have up to 40 people come and walk with us. That one picture on the bottom right is right before we got into the parade where it's masses of people. But we have a really good time doing that. So if that's something you want to do or encourage your team to do, they can sign up for that. They can just email me. Like I said, those red kettles, those funds go to help support RBA. And so if you're interested in doing that as a team, please, you can go to register ring. You can contact me. I can send you the link. You can do a 2 hour block for your team to read. And there's all sorts of locations, indoors, outdoors. Or if you're interested in doing like a toy drive for the toys that get given out to our neighbors in need, feel free to do that too. I can give you information on that if that's something you're interested in doing to help out. In March, I'm not sure of the date yet because we don't have our game dates set yet. But in March, we will be doing a food drive. The food donations during March are matched for Minnesota Food Share Month. And so pound for pound, those are matched. Our record was in 2023, we brought in over 1,100 pounds of foods. That was doubled, which is incredible. And I feel like this year we're going to need it more than ever. So just keep that in mind in the back of your mind. The team that brings in the most number of items will win a pizza party. And so they get an hour at the Salvation Army where they can play in the gym and we give them pizza. And so that's the reward for collecting the most items to go towards our food drive. That goes to the Salvation Army food shelf here in Duluth. So remember those things you listed about your coach at the very beginning? How many people do you think, with this in mind, do you think that coach impacted through your coaching, through their coaching? Obviously you're saying they impacted you. So how many others do you think they impacted over those years? And when you think about it, I want you to think about it in the context of how many coaches are you going to impact? Or not coaches, players. How many players will you impact this year? I know you have 10, but kids are going to recognize you from other teams when they play you a second time or a third time. They're going to be like, I remember this coach. You're either going to have a really positive effect or a really negative effect because they're going to remember how you responded in sticky situations. If you're one of those yelling coaches are like, man, they were even clapping when I made a basket. Like that stuff sticks in kids' heads. So what kind of impact are you going to make? Are you going to have that same impact that the coach had on you and kind of that hand forward, hand back mentality of someone did it for me, now I'm going to do it for somebody else? Coaching is a privilege and a power, and we've talked about this last night at Safe from Harm. That gives us a platform into kids' lives, and we have to leverage that privilege and that platform and its power for its full potential to make a positive impact on our players. We've got coaches this year that played in RBA years ago. That's the cycle that we want to continue, is making a positive impact where people know that being a part of this is going to make a difference in kids' lives. On average, over 500 former RBA players will play at the 7 area outlying, including Duluth and the outlying area schools in each year. So they're playing on not just basketball, but all sorts of rosters. Those players take the values they've learned in RBA to those teams, the teamwork, sportsmanship, integrity, respect, and hope. They take that to those places as well. So what you're teaching now is going to have a ripple effect for years to come. So I want to say now, because I know that you're going to have a great, great season. I'm hoping it's going to be a great, great season. And you are going to have an impact on lives that you aren't even going to realize. And you're going to put a lot of time into this, probably more time than I'm even going to realize. And that means a ton. And I really, really appreciate it. I know some of you stepped up when I was like, guys, we need more coaches. I don't know what we're going to do. And you're like, okay, I'll do it. And I really, really appreciate it. The time, the energy, the knowledge, and so much more that you're going to invest in our community through basketball and the youth is not measurable. And I think you just seems kind of cheap because it doesn't seem like it's enough for all that you're going to do. And if you've coached in the past, I hope you've seen the ways that we can make a difference in kids' lives through basketball. And so I just really appreciate you guys. I appreciate the time that you give us and how dedicated you are and the way you go above and beyond expectations that we have, that the kids have, that the parents have. You just do a ton to impact these lives. And I can give you stories from the past several years that have just been so moving on how the coaches have made a difference in lives and in really, 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 I'm not making this stuff up, but they've really changed the trajectory of some kids' lives in our community. And a coach did that to me. A coach stood out for me and stood up for me. And if we can do that for a kid, that's worth it. All the time that we're pouring into it, all the cranky days or the, oh my goodness, the parents who um But are you sure you don't have a team at Lester Park that my kid can play on? Are you sure? Yep. Okay, but you don't have one at Homecraft either? Yeah, like 4 emails from the same parent today going, no, but are you sure? What about this school? No, I literally have one school on that one team on that day at Piedmont. That's your only option. But not at Congdon then? No. Like that's kind of some of the so even in all of that, I'm hoping and praying that that kid where that kid landed is going to just have an amazing experience, even for the little bit of frustration I had today with that parent. I hope that that kid is like, just, man, I loved playing basketball this year with that team and that coach. It was so fun. So, all right, that's what I got. Look at this, guys. Record-breaking time. I hope we covered everything that is critical. If you please write that phone number down. If you don't have it already, make sure you've got my phone number. If you have not completed your concussion training, you need to do that by Monday and send me the copy of the PDF if you have not done that. That's a state law. That's not my rule. So please get that done. Ryan, do you have a question? Go ahead and
Yeah,
unmute.
is concussion every 2 years it's good for?
Every 3 years.
3 years, so I'm still good then.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay, so I'm gonna hang on one second. I'm gonna answer your question, but I'm gonna unshare my screen. Yes, I will tell you when you need to renew. Oh, somebody tell me how to unshare my screen. I just want to see you guys. I don't know how to unshare my screen.
It's the up arrow in the upper right next to the leave button if you're using the desktop app of Teams.
Upper right. Anthony Olson. Wow, you're sharing. Hi. See, guys, remember I said I'm not the techie person? I'm so impressed you didn't read my notes the whole time. I got that taken care of.
I took the share and then turned it off, so you're good.
Okay, thank you. So, what questions do you guys have for me? We have a few minutes. You can unmute and ask me a question if you have a question, please, because somebody else might be thinking it.
So we're getting
Hi,
a coach. Oh,
Oh.
sorry. Go ahead.
Hi, Deanna.
Hey.
You can go first.
I was just wondering. Sorry, I'll make this very quick. When we get the coaching handbook or whatever, when we pick up gear, is that
Yep.
like the rules and regulations for our grade? And like
Yep.
you said, 4th and 5th grade can steal off the dribble, but not till February. But like other rules along those lines.
Yes, that's in the coach's guide. All of that's in the coach's guide. I have emailed that out already, but you'll get a hard copy as well.
Perfect.
And then you'll also have an option to pick up the practice plans for junior MBA.
Nice. Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, Chris, this is a
Yes.
question I've ran into. I'm not sure if other coaches have run into it. And I have kind of a potential solution, but I wanted to see what your thoughts are. Sometimes there's one or two kids that just almost like sabotage a practice with their behavior. And it really takes away from the quality of practice for the other kids, or then the other kids start to misbehave as well because you're spending more attention, with the one child. What's your strategy in that situation?
Well, we talked about this last night at Safe from Harm, and I would suggest they sit out of scrimmage. The first line of defense that I would do personally is I would say you're gonna sit out of scrimmage the first 5 minutes of scrimmage, because our team needs to be focused. We don't have a lot of time, and so we need to work together and be focused through every aspect of practice for us to accomplish what we can be, so we can accomplish what we need to do, so we can be successful in the game against another team. And so if you can't focus, if you're gonna be distracting, you're going to sit out. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you you're sitting out the first 5 minutes when we scrimmage. And if that's not going to be enough, I'm going to have you sit out immediately. If that's not going to work, I'm going to ask mom and dad to stay with them, like stay during practice. Like they need to be here so that if I need to sit this player down, you're going to be here and sit with your player. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was thinking of something similar, like, you get one warning And then if it happens again, then I'm going to have you sit for 5 minutes with your parents. And I talk to the parents beforehand too, and just let them know. And, then if it happens, obviously, hopefully it doesn't happen again. But it's been a couple of years since I coached 2-3, but, they're just, they got a lot of energy and that's normal. But we also want to make sure that everybody's getting something out of practice and that, we're running an efficient practice. So, but I think that's great.
I think too,
some strategy like that. I just wanted to make sure it's okay too, because sometimes some of these children have autism or different things going on that I'm not an expert at managing, and you just want to make sure it's legit and fair for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's, if you need to involve a parent, feel free. If you want me to come to your practice, I'd be happy to come. Not a problem. But certainly, and I think too, we have a lot of coaches or a lot of teachers who work with kids on a regular basis. They may have way better ways to address behavior than I do. And I would be happy to, if they want to shoot me an email and I can share it, or however, if you want to talk now, that's fine too. But I'd be more than willing to work with those professionals and how they best address behavior issues.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions you have for me?
Hey, Chris, I had a hard time getting in the beginning. Maybe you guys already touched on this, but do you want to go over as far as if a coach can't make either practice or a game? I know you talked about always having two. I don't know if you want to touch on that.
I didn't hear the very first part of your question. If a coach can do what?
Oh, if a coach is going to be not going to be at practice or a game, I know you always talked about having two coaches always present. As far as finding a replacement, and if we're not able to find a replacement, as far as one of the other coaches.
Right. So for the first thing is if it's a practice and you've got another coach in the gym, that's okay. The curtain just stays up. So your one coach could handle that. So if it's you and Anthony at a practice and you're going to be gone, Anthony can handle that practice on his own as long as that other team is there and the curtain stays up. In the event that he's not going to be there and you're not going to be there, then I would check with the coaches before and after and see if one of them could substitute for you. If they're not available, then contact me and I'll see if one of our staff can step up and volunteer or step in and run your practice for that. If we can't, we'll cancel the practice and we can try to reschedule if we can, if there's a slot available. There is some time throughout the week, but there's not a lot.
Okay.
That answer your question, good. David?
Yes, thank you.
Tina, I see your question there. I'm just getting in the chat. If you have a second, third grade player and a fourth and fifth grade player, is there a buffer so you can make both games? Somewhere I have written down on my fancy dancy, I have a list of all the coaches that have more than one kid that have to get somewhere. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 coaches that are connected to 2 teams, at least 2 teams. So I'm going to be working at. I just realized I said that out loud. I'm going to try to make that work so that they have at least an hour in between to get to the different games. We had 51 pairs of siblings to set up for practices. So when it comes to games, if you're not coaching, I don't look at any of that. They've got to figure that out on their own. But for coaches who have more than one sibling or they're coaching more than one team, I try to make sure there's a buffer. Any other questions? I think I might have hit all the.
Chris, this is Erica here. I have a quick question.
Hi, Erica.
Hi. Just curious, I'm wondering if there might be other K1 teams who are playing on Wednesday in the same boat. So I thought I'd ask here to avoid maybe multiple emails to you. Wondering if that the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, is it possible to just extend our season by a week?
Yes, I already did.
Oh,
I
you
think
did?
I already
Okay.
did. Will you check on that? Because I'm pretty sure I just automatically didn't schedule you for that Wednesday, and I bumped it back.
Okay, so
you
then we
guys
would
and
end on
Thanksgiving as well.
Okay, it looks like as of right now, we are scheduled for Wednesday, November 26th.
Then it must be Tuesday
So
for election day. I bumped them back, and Thursday for
okay.
For Thanksgiving. So yeah, if you're a K1 team and you would like me to do that, shoot me an email. Because if you tell me right now, I promise you I'm not going to remember. I'm going to be like, oh no, it was a
Okay.
K1 team. So shoot me, don't
Yeah,
put it
yeah,
in the
perfect.
chat. Shoot me an email and say, hey, bump our practices back and I'll handle that. Anybody else
Okay,
that's
perfect.
practicing on
Thanks.
Wednesday that wants to do that, just cancel that practice. Just shoot me an email and we'll take care of that. Good question. Like I said, there are some who might like be like, hey, get the kids, get out of the house, go to practice, and but at the same time, there might be some that are like, we're getting out of town. So feel free to let me know. Any other questions you have for me?
Hi, Chris. It's Allison. I have a question for you.
Sure.
So if my team usually would practice on Thursdays, so can I shoot you an email like if that Wednesday before Thanksgiving were to be open and I kind of take a tally and I have enough that if you had room somewhere, we can maybe slide in that week?
Yes, I don't know off the top of my head. There is a chance that there is um space at Piedmont that Monday, and I could slide you in there. I just don't know off the top of my head. I don't have those dates right in front of me. But yeah, we can take a look at that.
Okay, I'll take kind of a pull at our practice and just see if there'll be people that are around that maybe would be interested in practicing, an earlier day that week.
Yep, no problem.
And I think you had another question about any tips in the chat and how they should handle younger siblings or that are constantly interfering and parents not paying attention.
I would make sure you always have a copy of the code of conduct with you, because kids are supposed to be supervised. I don't know that we specifically say in the code of conduct that they're not supposed to be distracting, but they should not be on the court. Here's something I didn't say that should be said. No one should be using a basketball or be on the court that's not a registered player or an approved volunteer. So in between practice, siblings don't come out and shoot around and play, parents don't shoot around. If something happens to them, that's a liability. So that doesn't happen. And if you need me to come and talk to somebody, I'd be happy to. But we want to make sure that that time there um, for the kids that are registered is for them, not for anybody else. And so we need to make sure that we protect that. And so if you have
I
issues with siblings that come, let me know. Go ahead, Lauren.
I've had the 1 year I coached, we had that, and it turns out if you address it with the kids, they're much more afraid of some other adult talking to them than their parents,
Okay.
and they backed off. So just addressing it, and telling them why they can't
Yeah.
be, it's worked for us.
Yeah. And certainly that's something you can address at the beginning, at your parent practice at the beginning of, anyone you bring during practice or games, you're responsible for supervising, and they're not to be anywhere else in the building. You're either going to the bathroom or going out the door.
Hey, Chris. Parents can't just drop off their kid. They have to be there at practice, or at least a guardian, correct?
They do not have to stay at practice. No, they need to sign them in and they need to sign them out, but they don't have to stay at practice.
Got it.
Good questions, guys. What else are we missing?
Okay, but if I'm coaching and my kid's playing, I have to stay at practice? Is that the deal?
Yes.
All right, just making sure.
Who said that?
Allison, of course.
Come on. Ha ha. Yes, please stay at practice. Yeah, unrelated, but someday it'd be really super fun to have like a coaches game where we do it somewhere big enough that, where kids could come with their families and watch you guys all play basketball. It would be really, really fun, but we've never been able to do that. But maybe this year we'll get that off the ground in the end of the season. That'd be just really fun to watch, be a part of all that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in that, uh, you can feel free to shoot me an email and be like, yeah, let's do a game. So the kids can see you actually know how to ball. That'd be so fun.
On a side note on that one, we did a end of the season game last year or 2 years ago with pizza and stuff, and we did parents versus kids, and that was a lot of fun too because we just schooled them. It was great.
Yes. Lots of sportsmanship in that. Also, that brings up a good point. At the end of the year, we will have in like March, we'll have some slots open up at the Salvation Army if you want to sign up and have like an end of season party there where you can bring in food and have something in the dining room, but then have time in the gym. We allow you guys to do that for free if you want to, like you don't have to rent the space or anything like that. You have to bring your own food, but we'll have a space available for you guys to do that if you'd like. So keep that in mind. Any other questions?
Yeah, Chris, I had a question quick. About the second coach, you know, if we have one of the coaches who's going to be gone, is it okay for the one coach to hold the practice as long as there's another parent there as in regards to accountability, or does that second person have to be a registered volunteer?
It has to be a registered volunteer for liability's sake.
Okay.
So if, like I said, if you're, I can't see who was talking there. Who
That's
was that?
Jason.
Okay. If you have a team practicing at the same time on the other side of the gym, that's fine. And there's an approved adult there. But if it's just your team in the gym and you're the adult, and I would rather have a second approved adult there in the event something happened. It's a liability. And we had an issue with a parent last year that turned into a bigger issue. And we're just not going to, we have to put that boundary there for everyone's safety.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yep.
I have a quick side question with that.
Yep.
So I know our practice is ending at 7:30, but I'm staying till 8 to have that additional half hour. Am I still responsible for those kids at that point, or can I require the parents to be there with them if they want to utilize the gym?
Yes, and we need to talk about a second adult that's approved during that time.
Okay.
Because that puts you at liability too, you know.
Okay.
Puts you in a risky situation for it to just be you there with kids, or if, you know, if the parents don't come back, or if they just drop their kids off for that hour and a half, or whatever the case would be. I don't want you to be put in a risky situation as well.
So would it be more like if parents want to utilize that half hour, they have to sign up and be there with their kid?
No, we can't just have a parent, like we have to have approved adults there.
Okay, got it.
We can't just have an open gym where they come and use the space and no one's there. It has to have two approved adults. So even if you want to set it up, you're with Lauren, right? Like if you were like, okay, once a month we're gonna do it and we'll both stay and we can have an extra shoot around, or however you want to do that, but it has to be two approved adults.
Okay, got it. All right, I'll think about
Chris,
that.
Chris, this is Matt. I have a quick question, if that's all right.
Hey, Matt.
So I coached with Jason, so I'm kind of following up on his question because I know there will almost certainly be a time when there'll only be one of us there at practice and we have the gym to ourselves. Is there a process we can go through to get parents kind of approved now, not necessarily as coaches, but as
like a
volunteers?
team parent? Absolutely. So we have another 4th and 5th grade coach, that a couple of them actually, where there are volunteers who are just serving as a team parent, just being a supervision role. They're just another set of eyes, keeping track and making sure everybody's doing what they're, but that's going to require an application, reference check, background check, safe from harm. You have to go through that whole process.
Just like talk to the parents and then have them contact you directly, or contact you and copy them, kind of a thing. Okay.
Yep.
All right. We'll look at it. Thanks.
Yep.
Chris, can I follow up on that too?
Yep.
Matt and Jason too. Like if you guys run into a pinch too, where you guys need an extra person, and you let me know early enough, I can possibly step into. So.
Right. I'm going to sign you up, Dustin. Thank you.
All right, we're getting close to running out of time, but if anyone else has questions, it's really nice to see all your faces, because some of you, you're returning, and I haven't gotten to see you yet this year, and I'm so glad you're back. And it's so fun watching you coach and seeing the excitement on the kids being a part of your team, and so I'm just really excited.
All right, I have.
Hey, Chris.
Oh, go ahead.
Yep, Lauren.
Chris, I just had one more parent in the gym question.
Oh,
If Travis has coached last year but is not coaching this year, could he be that parent, or do I need to like recertify him? He could.
Yeah, no, he could be. Just shoot me an email so I keep him on the approved list, because we have an internal volunteer system, and I would keep him as an accepted volunteer and not deactivate him, but make him inactive, if that makes sense. Like, I want to keep him on that list. And then if you could let me know when he's doing that, so I can document his hours that he's volunteering, that'd be great.
But just because I know Mitch can't come sometimes, and if I can bring him along, I'd rather do that.
But you also have 2 volunteers, parent volunteers.
Great too. I just was like, in case we want someone else to run drills, it's sometimes nice to have 2 people.
And those parents, you're going to talk to them about what their experience is, because they may be, I don't know if they are or not, so they might be able to help you with that. I don't know.
Great.
You can talk about
Great.
that. Yep. Lauren, did you have another question? I can't hear you.
Kind of. Sorry.
You're right.
Can like another coach, like not necessarily come coach, maybe because we're, I don't know, kitted out at that point, but like if someone just needs an extra set of eyes because one coach can't come, like I'm happy to just pop down to Congdon for an hour in case somebody needs somebody that day, you know, like
Yep.
that works too. So I don't know how we set that up so people can talk about it. But
If you want to shoot me, if you're willing to be a second volunteer on a kind of a random basis or something like that, shoot me an email and I'll just make a list and send, you know, like I'll put that on the bottom of the coach contact list of, you know, volunteers with notice. Like, so if you give us notice, we're willing to come and help.
Perfect.
Just send me lots of emails because right when I left,
You're
when I
gonna
got
regret
on
that
the,
tomorrow.
when I came on this, there are 0 emails.
Okay.
Chris, I got
Anybody
a
else?
question.
Who? I can't see you. Tell me your
This
name.
is Jim Picanato.
Hi.
And I'm new to the coaching, so I'm looking at the coach's guide. It says 5th and 6th grade Pacifics. Obviously, we're coaching 4th and 5th graders. Do we base it off of the 5th and 6th grade in the coach's guide?
That I would need to look at that. There is a chance that because our middle school kids go to play games in Superior and they have some different rules. So that's 6th graders and 7th and 8th graders, not the 5th graders. And so that could be part of that. And so if you want to shoot me a specific question via email and then I can address that specifically, that'd be great.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions? Feel free to email me or text me if you have questions. I'm happy to help. We're still kind of loading up all this, you know, like getting everything ready. We're really, really close. Once you guys pick up your equipment either tomorrow night or Thursday, then it's almost go time. And once things, I told the group last night, once things start on Monday, I don't know if I could stop it at that point. Like this thing goes. And so I'm just, I'm in that get to Monday, get to Monday, get to Monday. And yes, we'll add people and things might still move and there'll be hiccups and all that kind of stuff. But overall it will be going. And so, we're really, really close to being there. Any last questions you guys have for me? All right, it's 7:30. You guys are going to give me so much time and you're going to invest so much in these kids. I don't want to take a minute more if I don't have to. So thank you so, so much. I really appreciate you guys being here tonight and have a really fun season. Have a great time. Enjoy it because this part of life goes so stinking fast. So just thank you so much for being here and we're going to see you on the court. Please get your equipment. Don't forget to get your equipment. Okay, guys?
Thanks, Chris.
Yep, you're welcome,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Yeah, you too.